outside. It's time for an outside video. I'm just to do a walk around. Windshield's tinted a little. Sides are tinted pretty dark. I'm sure you can't pick it up, but there's a little door ding there. There's maybe one or two other dings somewhere if you look hard enough. I think the list pretty much covered what's under the hood, but I'll go over it real quick. Enormous intake. All of this from here all the way down below there, pretty much the full length from this seam to there, is all core. James from G1 Pro called it like a 4,000 horsepower intercooler, which I suppose it's got let's see, tile blow-off valve. You can see there's a pair of 2 inchers coming up here from each turbo. They combine into one 3.5. That goes straight in and then through the giant air-to-water intercooler. This thing on a really hot day, because of condensation, I set the water inlet temp right here to about 70 degrees. Now, if you set it any colder, it sweats, and it sweats on the inside and the outside, and all that water turns into a bit of a problem. On like a 50-degree day, you turn it on full blast, the pump that goes in here, and it'll get this water down to in the 30s, maybe 35 degrees. Your intake air temps are like 60 at the end of a run on a 50-degree day. When it's set at 70, the end of the run, your intake air temps might be 100. So they're still cool. Not sure what to go over under here. We got the Mighty Mouse catch can. I got sensors right here for the inlet water temp and the outlet water temp. As I typed up, I got the expensive Johnson lifters, some really good springs. I took my time and shimmed the springs exactly as specified. The 3/8 push rods, the trunnion upgrades, the GPI drop-in rods and pistons. If you go to my page and look up Camaro album, you'll see lots of pictures. Some of them aren't current because I've changed the setup over time. Underneath these covers, which, let me try this other one. This cover, you'll find a fuel rail. This is for the port injectors. I don't know what else to tell you. I think that's good for under the hood. Here's a video from inside the car. I'm hoping the exhaust isn't too loud. It's pretty clean. There's very little to indicate that the car has been modded, other than the tablet. The tablet's pretty obvious, but there's not a lot of gauges, switches. Everything's kind of integrated. This tablet here, when you drive the car regularly, the tablet will just turn on and off. If you shut the car off for 2 weeks and come out, you may have to hit a button or something to get it to boot up. But if you drive it normal every day, the tablet will just come up to this screen. It senses power right there, and it just jumps into this mode. You can configure this screen any way you want. You can spend days making the perfect screen. You can clean it up and have almost nothing. You can have a whole pile of different screens and just swipe your finger and have different information. Right now, I can show you some of what I have on there. I've kind of added some of this on the fly, so it's not super clean. But you got the intercooler tank, the inlet fluid for the intercooler, the outlet fluid temp for the intercooler, coolant temp, that's for the engine. That's a good one to have. It actually turns red when it gets over 200, and I really like that. I don't want to be making any runs when it's over 200, and that just gives me an obvious warning. You wait a minute, let it cool off. Ambient air temp, air filter temp, pre-intercooler and post-intercooler temp. You know, you don't really need to look at any of that stuff while you're driving, but it's kind of neat. Right there, data logging. That's dim, so you can just touch it, and it's data logging. That's pretty sweet. You can also program it so that anytime a certain condition is met, it will automatically data log for you. This here is about 30 seconds worth of data, which I think is the best thing ever. So we got wideband, fuel pressure, boost, and down here is the traction. Let you know if the traction control is kicking in. So you can floor it, and you can make a run, and you can slow down. You can get off the track and make a corner, and then you can just look up. Or if you're driving on the street or whatever, you don't have to be looking at the gauges. You can glance over here and get a quick peek, and regularly check to see if the air fuel is where you think you should be, or the fuel pressure. And you've got about 30 seconds before it runs off the screen. Of course, you can data log it and take a better look at it. There's some other information I just added on the fly, like the ethanol percentage, pressure for the dome, for the wastegates, fuel pressure duty cycle, intercooler pump duty cycle. I've integrated my paddles right here. Paddle. So this left paddle gives me the line lock and the 3-step. So I got the 3-step set to like 4,000. So when you're doing your burnout, the RPMs don't get away from you. It's real easy to step up there and do a burnout with the line lock and the 3-step taking care of things. Get done with your burnout, you pull the other paddle, and boom, you got your 2-step. You could go minimize this screen and set your settings anywhere you want. 4,000, 42, 44. Pull timing, add fuel, set their boost level. All those things you can do while this 2-step is active, and dial in exactly how much power you think it can hold when you let it go. The boost controller, being dome control, means you have a really wide range of boost. I think I've got like a 9-pound spring in there, and I can add about 30 more pounds to that with the dome control. So somewhere between 9 and 39 pounds is your range. I've never been over like 26 maybe. You can have, I've got a speed sensor on the front wheel. That's used for traction control, which there's a ton of options there on what you want it to do for traction control. But the main reason I put it there is for speed-based boost. You can have it dial in whatever boost you want. These turbos are very responsive. So if you tell it you wanted 2 more pounds of boost, it's there just instantly. There's another feature where you can use these paddles for boost scramble. Unfortunately, the main squirter doesn't have a setup where you can use boost scramble and speed-based boost. So what I do is I use RPM-based boost, and so I'll leave it 15 pounds. I'll ramp it, I'll probably leave it 10 pounds. I'll ramp it to 15 by the end of the initial gear. After the shift, it references another table, and I can add more boost, or I can just leave it there. Anytime it's above 5,000 RPM, these paddles change modes, and this one turns into scramble 1, and this one turns into scramble 2. So theoretically, you could launch at 10 pounds, ramp up to 15 pounds, add 2 more pounds after the shift, and then add 3 more pounds on here, and maybe 6 more pounds on here. You get crazy with it. I could show you all kinds of stuff on here, but this would take forever. There's boost control settings, there's 2-step settings, there's a million things. If someone buys this car, I will continue to help them sort this stuff out if they need any help. What else we got? Air conditioner still works. Oh, look, as we've sat here, this guy has dropped to 47. You can see it's dropping. That'll get, on a day like today, that'll probably get down to 35 degrees. My intercooler temp. And right there, the intercooler pump is not even running. So I don't even have, I must have the setting for the intercooler fluid inlet temp fairly high, and the pump isn't even running because I don't want it to get too cold and get sweaty. That's an easy adjustment. So, you know, you look at the dew point and you set this number where you want it, and you get as cold as you can, working with the dew point that you have. 45. This guy's dropping like a rock. I'm real impressed with the interchiller setup. There's not much to see in the rest of the car, I don't think. Alright, I'm gonna get a little video under the car. First of all, got a bunch of stuff that goes with it. Stock rears, stock rear rims with some 20-inch drag radials, the stock fronts, the Ford Star front street tires, and some 325 ET Street R's. And then right there are the dumps, B-Band dumps that you can put on and drop the exhaust if you want. Car up in there. Let's walk around the outside. We got Carlisle brakes in there for the 15s. Up front, the Aerospace front brakes. They drop like 50 pounds. Working my way under the car. Go the other way so the sun doesn't look so bad. So, got dual MagnaFlows, the quad tips. It's all stainless. Got X-pipe. Looking up, we've got all the BMR stuff. It's all double adjustable. All bars are BMR. Got the G-Force Outlaw axles. We got up inside there, right here's the Viking shock. Moving forward a little, we got drive shaft, diff bushings. You can't see them, but there's cradle lockouts. There's these little bullet things you put in the rubber. Let's move forward a little. Got a bunch of exhaust. I think I said I had precision wastegates, but they're actually tiles. A couple of those guys. Some 67, I don't remember, 67, 66. I don't know, I'll have to look it up. Precision turbos. Right here, it's the V-bands where you can separate and put the dumps on if you want. I got AFR 500, so it's an NTK sensor for the wideband. Working way up, right there we got a turbine pressure sensor fitting. It runs along and goes over to a little chamber and a pressure sensor to help smooth out the signal. I don't know if there's much more to look at up here. I think that's it. Quick shot of the trunk. It's definitely messy. I didn't spend a whole lot of time cleaning it up back here. I've got the large insulated tank for the intercooler. Over here is the circulation pump. There's actually two pumps. One goes to the inner chiller, one goes to the inner cooler. The inner chiller was originally mounted on the front bumper, but it's like 18 pounds. And I decided I just want to try and move it in the back, and it works fine. So it's right here, mounted out on the bumper. I think having this extra weight and this weight on the back of the car is what's actually making the car faster, because it hooks better now than it ever has. Got a lithium battery. I got that 1 gallon air tank to run the dome control. Over here is a surge tank with quad pumps. There's sensors, you just can't see them, but there's a temperature sensor for this tank. Those pumps are variable speed. I can control them and make the intercooler whatever temp I want. So I think that's pretty good. I could